Hello everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Tuesday. I'm Dawn Duvall with Shall We Stamp, and I'm coming to you live from the Villages. So we should not have any problems with our internet connection this evening. So I think I've learned my lesson not to try to do it in the RV. So make sure that you jump when you come on, say hi. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone again. And again, my apologies for the bad connection last week. I have recorded the 2 cards that we were going to make. I need to edit them, and I'm hoping to have that done by Thursday, and I'll post that to my page. Make sure that you share my videos with your friends and fellow crafters. I would greatly appreciate that. So just come on and join the party per se. So all right, so we're just waiting for we'll wait a few more minutes for people to pop on, and let me finish eating my mint. And hang on a second, let me clear off my camera. Sorry about that. I had comments coming through. I had notifications or whatever, and I didn't want it to be in the way. So how is everyone doing this evening? Hope we'll have a good crowd this evening. We'll wait a few minutes. I came on a little bit early. It's 1 minute to 7, so we'll give it a couple of more minutes and then we'll get started. I'm gonna go ahead and get my stuff organized so we can start. So jump on anytime you're ready. And we will get the party started here shortly. Got all my stuff ready to go. The dog's in here. We're all set. Set to go, set to go. All right, let's see what we've got going on here. Okay, we'll just wait a couple more minutes. Looking outside, it's a little cloudy. Hopefully we'll get some rain. We definitely need it, the grass and the flowers and everything else. I'm eating a mint, sorry. Okay. Slowly, when everyone's popping on, good evening. I'm Dawn with Shall We Stamp, and I am live from the Villages with good internet connection. So we won't have that fiasco that we had last week. So I think I've learned my lesson now that I can't do these things on Tuesday nights in the RV because it's just not happening. I was on my husband's hotspot, and I think with the iPad running and my iPhone running, it was just way too much. So but you know, what can you say? All right, so we are, let me see if I can refresh. If you're there, pop on, just announce that you're here, or put a comment in the box for us. We would appreciate it. Not we, me, or Riley would appreciate it too, my little puppy dog. So I've adjusted my iPad a little bit differently because I was tired of it looking up at me. So I've adjusted it so that I can look forward, not look like I'm, you know, staring, you know, at my chin. So anyways, we'll give it a couple more minutes. It's 2 after 7, and then we'll get started. So for those that are here, hello Faye, how are you? For those that are here, just be patient, if you will, and we'll just give it another couple of minutes and we'll get started. I know it's 6 o'clock in the Central Time, so I'm sure people are getting dinner prepared or trying to finish up dinner so they can join us. And of course, out in California, out in the West Coast, it is what, 3 o'clock? No, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock out there. So anyways, so we're coming live from the Villages. Hot, it's 91 degrees, I think it is. High humidity, and the clouds are rolling in, so hopefully we'll get some rain. That's what I'm looking forward to. Get my plants watered in the yard watered. Hi Patricia, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Thank you guys. I appreciate you joining in. My apologies for last week's bad internet connection. I've learned my lesson. I will not try to do any Facebook Lives while we're out in the RV. So we won't worry about that anymore. I just didn't want to go with a week and not do anything. Thank you for sharing. So anyways, that's okay. We've got I've got a new fold that you've probably seen, but we're going to do it. And then we're going to do a chalkboard technique, which is pretty easy. And it's fun. So we'll be doing those two cards this evening. All right, so we'll just wait for a few more people to pop on. They're popping in slowly but surely. I'll give it a few more minutes so we don't hold people up. Hi, Carolyn. How are you? Welcome. Welcome to the crazy show on Tuesday evening, coming live from the villages. So, but we have good internet, so that's a good thing. I really appreciate you all stopping in last week, and it just went, the numbers were up and then they slowly started dripping off, and I thought, this is crazy, because it kept freezing up on my end too. So we won't be doing that again while we're in the RV, because it's just not worth it. It's aggravating for me, and I know it's aggravating for you all as well. So, but that's all right. So okay, we're gonna give it one more minute. We'll wait till 7:05 and then we will get started, because I know everyone has busy evenings and in your little world, so I don't want to hold you up much more than we have to. But I do appreciate and thank you all for joining me this evening. I love doing these. And we're getting down, I'll just do a little bit of sales now, excuse me. We're getting to close to the end of the month. Today is the 23rd. Let me think about this. Yeah, my birthday was Sunday. I turned 62, and it's like, oh my gosh. So a couple of us from high school, we were both in a band and drill team, and some other friends were reminiscing about, can't believe we're all turning 62. So anyways, but so we have a week or so left before the end of the month. So if you have a large wish list of items that you want to purchase from the new catalog, then you might want to consider joining as a happy shopper, or what we call a hobbyist. You can join for $99 plus tax, so whatever the tax is in your area. And you get to choose $125 in product. You can't go over $125, so you got to get it as close to $125 as possible. And then you get to also choose a bundle, no matter what the cost is. And I think the majority of the bundles are $52. So that's a pretty good $175 for $99. So again, if you've got a large wish list, then think about joining my team. I would love to have you join my Crafty Girls. We do meetings monthly by Zoom. And we do have our own page that we set up, and I put different challenges and try to keep everybody up to date and all that stuff. I have teammates not only in Florida, but I have them in Virginia, Maryland, Arizona, Michigan. I'm sorry, scratch Michigan. It's Pennsylvania. I don't know why I keep thinking she's in Michigan. Pennsylvania, Arizona, Maryland, Virginia, and Florida. So, all right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got several of you on, so the others can pop in and watch the replay if needed. So I'm going to show you a card that I made. This is the fold that we're going to be doing. Let me flip the camera around. Now, this is using the Floral Essence. I really love this stamp set. I haven't used it enough, so I will be doing that. But this is a fun fold, and y'all have probably seen this. And the reason I'm not doing this card again is because I need a 6x12 piece of DSP, and I have done my paper shares, and I'm getting them packaged to send out, and I realized that I don't have but a few sheets of 6x12 designer series paper, so that limited me. And I used this this paper is from the In Good Touch, or I can't think of the name of it offhand, but this is what the card looks like. I'll move it over so y'all can see. So it's going to be, it may be a little bit different than what you've seen before. So we're going to cut it, and I'm going to give you all the instructions. It's really an easy card, and this is the designer series paper. And then I placed it on a cinnamon cider piece of cardstock and stamped it with Rococo Rose, and I used our Just Jade for the leaves. So this is the format that we're going to be working on, but we're going to be using, and let me pull in, the Ornate Garden style stamp set. I know we've all been using this. It's a fun stamp set, and I'm going to be using the sheet of designer series paper from the Ornate Garden. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this as the inside, and I'm going to have this as the outside. So let me pull in my scoring tool, and I'm going to give you the measurements of what we need to do. Okay, so first of all, we're going to use a piece of Pear Pizzazz, and this is going to be cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Hi, Rosalie, how you doing? And then your designer series paper is going to be, we're going to cut this down because this is cut at 6. So we need to cut it down to 5 1/4. All right. So we're going to make this 5 1/4. So let me get over into our 5 1/4 range, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this down. So we've got that lined up, and we're going to cut off that strip right there. All right, and our paper is now 5 1/4 by 12. Let me open up my arm because we're going to do some scoring, and this is very easy. So you can take notes. It's going to be a pretty simple scoring to do. Okay, so on this particular one, we're going to score at 2, 4, 8, and 10. Okay, so let me get my scoring blade. So we're going to go ahead and score at 2 inches, and I'm going to move it over here. If you can see, we've got the 2-inch mark on the right-hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and move that there. So we'll go ahead and score it. I'm sorry, that's a 1 inch. Pardon me, my mistake. Let me move my board over, and I'm going to shift my cardstock this way. All right, so we're going to line it up at 2 inches, and we're going to score at 2. So score at 2 inches, and we're going to slide it down to 4 inches. So we're going to line that up at 4. All right, and then we're going to move it down all the way to 8 inches. And we're going to score it at 8 inches. And let me move my board back over. Hang on one second. All right, we'll get that back over there. So we're going to line this up at 8 inches. And we're going to score that. And then we're going to move it down to 10. All right, so we're going to get that at 10 inches. I love this Stampin' Trimmer. I love that the fact that we have this header up here that you can butt your paper up and keep it nice and tight. So, all right. So there's our scoring. That's all we have to do. 2, 4, 8, and 10. All right. Now I'm going to close my arm so that way we've got some room to move here. Now I'm going to go ahead and push the trimmer out of the way for just a minute because we're going to need that. We're going to go ahead and fold in. Now I want my, you can choose whichever side you want, okay? But I'm going to do the pink on the inside and do the flowers on the outside. So I'm going to fold on my 4-inch, and then I'm going to fold back on this one. And I know that you all have seen this. So we're going to go ahead and fold that in, and then I'm going to fold this one and do the same thing. And then I'm going to pull this one in. Now you want to make sure you've got these things even, right? So let's get our bone folder. And the designer series paper makes it really easy. And this is a great way if you happen to be a hoarder of paper like most of us are. It's a good way to use up your paper, right? Okay. Now, if you have the grid paper, and we do sell this, you can set this in the corner and use the measurements to measure out what the next step that we're going to do. But I'm going to use a ruler because I won't be able to get my camera down. So let me put the ruler right here. Now what we're going to do, all right, so I've got this lined up, and this is the long side. Okay, so we've got it going landscape. So I'm going to take a pencil, and what we want to do is we want to go over and make a little pencil mark on our paper at 2.5 inches. Okay, so just make a little mark there, and then come up from that, and that should be even, but let me, since I'm not on the 2.5, let me go ahead and move my ruler up there and move it down. And then we're going to go 2.5 right here. That way we've got them both even, okay? So 2.5 inches from the top and bottom, and just make a little mark. All right, now we're going to pull our trimmer back in because we're going to cut this at a diagonal. All right, so I'm sure you've seen this. You're going to take, here's my mark that I made, okay? So I'm going to take and line up my fold, the first fold line, right? I'm going to get that in my trimmer, and it's going to be a little bit hard to see on this pink paper, but I've got my corner right inside on the trimmer, on the cutting center, the piece right there that the blade runs through, okay? So we want to make sure we've got that lined up, and there's my pencil mark. So I'm going to close this, and we're going to chop off that corner. Okay, now we're going to keep this because we're going to use that. So I'm going to set that off to the side. Now I'm going to turn my cardstock around. I'm going to do the same thing. All right, so I'm going to line up my pencil mark right here. Okay, there's my pencil mark. And now I'm going to turn my paper. I'm using my left hand and try to get my, there's my fold. So I'm going to lightly turn it just enough to get it in the cut right there. So we're going to put it right about there. All right, and now I've got to shift this because my pencil was off just a tad. All right, so we're going to go ahead and fold our arm down, and we're going to cut that corner off as well. All right, so we're going to keep these two corners. Let me move this out of the way. All right, now we can get in here and work on our card. Okay. So now, so this is how the card's going to look, right? So we've got this. So now I'm going to take the corners and flip them around, and we're going to glue them down just like that. Okay? All right, so that's what we're going to do. And you know what? No, I didn't. I brought my adhesive. Thank goodness. I forgot to bring, I brought my snail. I opened the Stamp1 seal. I don't know if y'all have ordered any of that yet. You got to be a little careful with that because it does, it can be a little tricky, but I found that it was pretty easy to use. It's sitting on the other desk, so I'm not going to get up and get it. So we want to make sure that we have the flowers on the outside. So I'm just going to put a little bit of snail in here. I didn't even bring my, I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't even bring my Tombow, my favorite green glue. All right, so we're just going to lay this right here. We're just going to line it up. And it looks like I cut it, which is okay. I'm not going to worry about it. My tip is a little bit off, and I can trim that down, which I think I probably will, just so it doesn't look funny. So I'm just going to trim that off. So obviously I had that off just a little bit, but that's okay. All right, and then we're going to take this one, and we're going to place it on this side as well. So we'll do the same thing here. So this is really easy. I mean, if you're somebody that's just starting out as a beginner, this really is an easy card to make. So we're going to go ahead and place this here and line it up on the edge. And because I cut it a little bit too long, I'm just going to trim that off. And no one's going to know any different. So that's okay. That'll work. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. So see how that looks? Now it gives you that diamond effect. All right, so now what I did is I cut a piece of Whisper White using the layering square framelits, and I used the largest scallop. Believe it or not, that's the largest. It looks small. So that's what I did. So I cut this out on Whisper White cardstock. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that, and then we'll put our design, we're going to put it on here just like that. So really, you won't see my little mess up right there, okay? So that's how that's going to work. So I'm going to set this off to the side for now because we don't need that right this moment. And then we will add let me see what size this is. For the inside, we will have a piece of 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So when we get done, we're going to put this on the inside so that we can do our message, all right? So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to stamp. Oh, I need to get a scratch piece of paper. Hang on a minute. Did I not bring one? Oh, I knew I'm going to have to get some. Give me a second. Oh, never mind. I found one. I found a scrap. Good thing. Let me put my microphone back on. Sorry about that, you guys. I thought I did pretty good being organized. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to use the ornate style stamp set. I'm going to use this little daisy so it matches, it kind of coordinates with the flower. And I'm going to end up fussy cutting that out, so it won't be too bad. But we're also going to use, and I meant to look up the price of these, and I don't think they're that expensive. Have you all seen these vellum doilies? They are just the cutest thing. And you know what? There's 24 of them that come in this package. So I think they're probably I don't know, maybe they're $8. I don't know. But for 24, you can't go wrong. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Can you see that? How pretty is that? So we're going to lay this. We're not going to adhere it. We're just going to lay it on the Whisper White. And then when we cut out our flower, then we're going to put dimensionals on that, and that's what's going to hold this down, okay? So let's go ahead and stamp our flower. And I'm going to do a little bit of watercoloring, not a lot, but just a little bit, since we don't have a lot of color on this flower. So give me a minute, and let's ink up our stamp, and we'll stamp. I think what we'll do is, I think I'm going to do 2 of these, and we'll cut them out in case we need both. We'll see how it looks. We may just use one. All right, so, oh my goodness, you know what I did? I left my chamois in the bathroom sink. That's okay. Bathroom sink. It's sitting in water. So I'm going to use this. This is a cleaner they came out with last year, and you just have to lightly clean it. And I think what it does is I think it helps to moisten the rubber stamp. It's a stamp cleaning pad. I don't even know if they carry this year or not. I'm not sure. But anyways, it's okay. So I'm just going to clean that way. All right, so I'm going to take my bumblebee, and I'm going to use a little bit. Let me see if I can squeeze some. These new stamp pads are a little bit more difficult to squeeze in the middle when you want to do a little bit of watercoloring. So I think I'm just going to pull it from the stamp from the ink pad itself. I don't have any problem with the Pear Pizzazz. That's an old one. So that one we've got. Okay, so I'm just going to go in and, whoops, hang on. I filled up my water thing because I don't want my thing to come off. All right, got a lot of water there, so let me just pull some of that off. Okay, so I'm just going to pull in a little bit of this Pear Pizzazz, and I'm just going to do a little bit of, just a little bit of coloring. Something different for a change. So if you've not done this, it's really easy, and this is just plain Whisper White. But the one thing you want to be careful of is you just don't want to do too much water with your ink, or the paper will start peeling. So I'm just going to color that, and then if you want to get it a little bit darker, you can just kind of add a little bit, you know, a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to cut this out, so we're not going to fret about that. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get some ink in here, but let's try it because I'm going to cut it. I'm going to try to get the stem to look green. And I just thought it'd be something different to do. I haven't done this this technique in a while as far as coloring. I do everything else, but we'll try to get it so I'll just have to try to cut really close to the edge of my flower stems. Okay, so we're going to clean that off. I think that's good for the green. And I did not, yes I did, no I didn't. Let me see what colors I got. All right, so this is our Bumblebee, one of the new in colors. And let me see what I have over here. I may have to go get a color because I forgot to bring one for the inside, but we might be able to do that. I'm just going to dip my tip on my ink pad. You can do the same thing. Or, you know, you can take your block and put a little drop of your ink on the block and use that as a pad. So I'm just going to go through here and kind of color in with the Bumblebee. And again, if you want it a little bit darker, you can just add a little bit more ink to it. And this is a quick way that you can do some coloring. And if you don't have the blends or watercolor pencils, so you can do it this way as well. And then we'll just put some more on this one. So this would be pretty, this one won't take too long. And then of course I'll have to fussy cut it, so that might be a little bit, but that's okay. So y'all get to watch me without having any interruptions on the internet. So my apologies. Those of you that have just joined me, I have told everyone prior to you coming on board that I will not be trying to do this when we're in the RV, which we're only going to make one more trip, probably in July, because my husband has to go back to work, believe it or not, at the university. So he's not looking forward to that. All right, so I think what I'm going to do, because I forgot to bring a color, I think I'm going to try to make this dark and do the center a darker color. Let's see if that'll work. And then we'll cut these out. So this is Bumblebee. So let me know if you've used any of these new ink colors. Leave me a comment on what is your favorite. I'm thinking so far, of course I'm a green girl. I love the green. I love the Just Jade. But I actually really like the Misty Moonlight. That's a pretty one. And I looked at the magenta today and thought, ooh, I might like that one too. I'm not quite sure on that. So, all right, there's our sunflower, so our little daisy flower. So we're just going to leave those like that. I'm not going to do any more of the watercoloring. So let me get my snips and we'll cut these apart. I may only put one on here, but I wanted to do two just in case. Better to do two. So I'm just going to cut this pretty quickly, and so we don't spend a whole lot of time on here. Get in the camera so y'all can see. And I'm sure a lot of you have probably done this. These paper snips are perfect for when you're doing this type of fussy cutting because they're small and it allows you to get into really small areas, and the point is very sharp. And I will tell you that the other day, or yesterday actually, I was recording the videos from last week, which I just did, and I've got to edit them, and then I'll post them from last Tuesday that y'all did not get to see. I accidentally poked myself with the tip of this, and I was bleeding right there, bleeding like a stuck pig. I was like, oh my God, these things are sharp. So anyways, when you're doing what we call fussy cutting, if you notice, I'm just turning the paper. I'm kind of leaving my scissors in one spot for the most part, and just turning my paper to get the areas cut that I need to cut. So you try to leave a little bit of a white border if you can. Sometimes I get a little, I'm going to cut that off. Sometimes I get a little heavy-handed and I cut too much into the black instead of leaving a little bit of white, and then you don't see the outline of my item, the flower or whatever it is that I'm cutting. So now I'm going to just come down here just a little bit. I'm not going to cut all the way into the stem, but I will cut just a little bit because I do want to leave it where it's got some a little bit of stability there. So we'll cut that, and we'll get this one cut, and let's move this around. So this is pretty easy. It's not taking too long. I know y'all didn't join me just to watch me cut paper, huh? But it's okay. Sometimes we have to go back to the beginning when we learned all this stuff, right? So we'll just snip that right there. All right, there's one. So let's see. I think I might do two because this one's pretty small for that. So let's cut out the second one, and then we'll get this card finished up. So let me do this one real quick, and we'll just zoom around. So tell me if you all have ordered anything from the catalog, and if you have, or what have you seen like on Pinterest or other blogs that you like as far as stamp sets. Let me know what your likes are. I will tell you, I just got in the Playful Pets, because you know I'm a dog person, and my stamp was delayed because I guess they didn't have it enough of those on stock. So I just got it in the other day, so I've not had a chance to work with that. So that's probably going to be one of our cards that we'll do next month. And then I am going to be running a online class next month, and it's going to be using, now I'm going to use the Free as a Bird, I think it's Free as a Bird, which carried over, but I also have it designed where you can use the birds and branches. That's the new set that's in the new catalog. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be, I think that's going to be a fun online class. And I've just got it all designed. I haven't done any pricing or anything like that yet. So that will be coming out here probably the 1st of July, somewhere in that time frame. All right, we're almost done cutting. So anyways, that's what we're doing. Now, what about the end colors? What do you all like as far as end colors? Did I ask you that? Like I told you, I love the jade. And I think magenta, but I got to find something to make some cards with the magenta madness, because that thing is pretty bold. So all right, so we got those all cut out. Put those away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these using some dimensionals. And you can see I had to use this piece on something else. I'm just going to put a dimensional right there. I didn't bring any babies with me, or did I? Let me see. Nope, I didn't. But that's all right, because we're going to I'm going to put one there, and then I'll just cut a little snip off. Let me see what I got over here. Nope, those are regular size. That's all right. We'll just cut a little snip. Here's one already cut right here. So let me get back in the camera so you can see what I'm doing here. And peel this off, and we'll put one right on the leaf, and I'm probably going to let the stem, this is where my my green glue would have come in handy, huh? I could get up and get it, but I'm not going to. That's okay. We'll go one night without the green glue. All right, so let me cut another little sliver, and I'll probably cut another one to put on the stem. So let's put one on this leaf here, and that should help hold him down. And this is going to also hold down the card, the doily on the card itself. So I'm going to cut this really thin. We'll see if we can stick one right on the edge here. Stuck to my finger. Maybe not. Nah, we won't go there. That's okay. This will be good enough. Let me see if I can get this little piece. No, hang on. Let me get my tweezers. That would probably be helpful. There we go. Stick him on there. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's pull this in. And I'm going to, let me get my doily. I'm going to lay the doily on there. Now, our card's going to be like this. So I'm going to layer these flowers at an angle. And I'm hoping that 2 enough is going to be enough. Now, y'all might be more creative than I am. So, you know, again, you design your card the way that you want to design it, right? Hang on a minute. Okay. And then I probably should have cut out a couple of more leaves or something. It's probably going to look a little barren, but I'll go with this for now, and then I might add something afterwards, and I'll post a picture once I do that. But I think it's probably going to need something, a little something else. Let me peel off this little piece right here, and then I think we'll be good to finish up this card if I can get that peeled off. Give me a second. Get my scissors in there so I can peel it. Since I cut it so small, I can't even get to it. Let's see if we can get it off. If not, all right, I guess we're not going to worry about that one. Hang on. See if I can get it. There we go. Now we got it. So this will work. Put this little guy on here to help hold it down. And we'll put the scissors on there. And we'll put him right on the edge of the stem, like that. Okay, so let's put him on here. So I think I'm just going to kind of put these like that. I think that'll look fine. Now that should hold down our doily. Isn't that pretty? So I do think we probably need something else here. Probably could have done another flower and popped it up between the two. So I may do that. I may cut another leaf, stamp one and cut a leaf off and put it right there. Let's do that real quick. Let me see if I've, let's do that. Let's stamp that real quick. Let's add a leaf, and that might make it look a little bit better. Let me get my scrap paper out. I'll stamp, let's do that. It won't take me long. I'm making a mess. It won't take me long. We're going to stamp that real quick and get another leaf, and let's do 2. All right, so we've got 2 leaves. We'll move that out of the way, move that out of the way, pull in our green Pear Pizzazz, and let's color these up real quick. And then we'll cut these out and we'll just add them. I think that might help make it look a little bit better. So let's do that and get some green on there. Get a little bit green there. Let's put a little bit down the center and a little bit center there. Okay, so let that dry for a minute. We'll cut that out. All right, clean that off. When you're using your aqua painters, always make sure you clean them off before you put your cap on it, so the next time you go to use them, you don't put ink on there that you didn't want. So I'm just going to cut this out really quick, and we'll just add it to the other, to the other flowers, and that might give it a little bit of extra something. So let's just do that. I'm just going to cut the leaf itself out, and we'll cut that around and knock this thing out. It's a little tiny piece, isn't it? Let me get that out of the way so I can move. All right, perfect. Let's move that out of the way, and we'll put a dimensional on the back of these. And I will cut that. Actually, let me get my little thing here. And oh, I've got 2. Look at that. I came really prepared this time. All right, so let's cut one and put it on this one. That's too small. That is just way too tiny. Here we go. Throwing stuff all over the place. Okay, now we're moving. Shaking and a moving here. So let's put that on that leaf. And then we'll do another one. Let me cut a smaller one for that piece there. And we'll get this, now we'll get it done. So we'll peel that off and stick him on there. Okay, oops, let me move him. Don't want the dimensional showing. So let me pull him off a little bit. Sorry guys if I was out of the camera. All right, let's get all these out of the way. Okay, so let's take and put him, I think that might help. Yeah, I think that's going to make it look a lot better. Oops, I lost my little, oh, it stuck to my finger. Look at that, because I didn't pull all the stuff off the back. All right, now this is when, oh, there we go. Ah, keep sticking to me instead of, come on now, get on there. There we go. Hopefully that's going to work. Let's put him right about there. All right, that's going to also help hold down the doily. And then this one's cooperating, so that's a really nice thing. And let's go ahead and put him, let's do him right there as well. There, I think that looks a little bit better. What do y'all think? Okay, I'm a little better satisfied with that. Let me move this out of my way. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and stamp the inside, and then we'll put our card together. So I'm gonna take my Memento Black ink, and we are going to stamp. I'm using from the Floral Essence, I am using the sentiment out of there that says, wishing you a blissful future. So I'm just going to take and stamp that at the top of my card, my Whisper White. I'm going to stamp it right about here, which will give us room to write our sentiment. And then I think what I'm going to do is, let me wipe this off real quick, and let's see what sentiment I can use since I didn't bring any other sentiments. So what can we stamp on the inside? Oh, let's stamp the little flower. We'll do that, and we'll color him real quick too. How's that? We'll just stamp this little flower in there, and I'll just stick it on this block. Actually, I have a little block right here. We'll just use that. So we're going to stamp that in our black, and we're going to stamp that in the bottom corner. I always like to decorate my stuff. And then we'll stamp the flower right about there. Okay, and we'll just do a quick coloring, and then this card will be almost done. We'll set that off to the side. So let's bring in our green again and our bumblebee. So let's just go ahead and do quick green. Whoops, well, got green on there. I guess we're gonna have to figure out what to do with that. Nothing like dropping the pen, huh? See, we all make little boo-boos. I might have to stamp another flower right there. What do you think? That's probably the best way. It might look a little goofy, but let's cover it up. So we'll just stamp the flower right there. There you go. No one's gonna know what I just did. So let's see if I can do this without dropping the aqua painter again. So let's go ahead and just do some coloring here. They'll think that's probably part of it. So let's just let that go like that. And let's go ahead and pull our bumblebee back in. We'll color these up real quick, and then we'll finish up the card. So let's get some bumblebee on here, and we'll just color those in real quick. Just kind of leave some white showing. And this is a fun, quick way that you can color using the aqua painter. That was a genius, whoever came up with this. All right, there we go. That's good. We covered up our boo-boo. Close enough. All right, so let me go ahead and move this out of the way. All right, so now let's go ahead and attach this to the inside of our card, and then we'll attach the front. You can see I don't throw anything away. So this is one that I boogered up, and so we're going to use that. No one will know the difference. All right, so we're going to place that right in the center of our card. And again, this is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So let me place that right there. Okay. All right, so that's the inside of our card. Now, this one is going to go like this. So what we need to do, we're going to add dimensionals, but we only want to put them on the left side. So we have to make sure that we have our dimensionals on the right side. So we don't want to go past like this part of the flower. Oh, that's a good idea. Faye says she thinks she'll try the stems together and then put ribbon around the stems. That's a great idea. All right, so I know that my card's going to go like this. So I can put one over here on this corner, right? And then I'm going to put one here. Whoops. I'm going to put one up here. If I can get them off my fingers. I'm going to put one right about here, and I'm going to put one right about, good Lord, these little guys don't want to come off today. I'm going to put one right about there. So let's see. I want to make sure I've got these. Okay, this guy, I've got him too far. Let me move him over just a little bit this way. Okay, so before you attach them, you want to make sure you've got your card placed where you want it, and then make sure that our dimensionals are in place. So they are. So I think we're good with that. So we're going to go ahead and peel these off and attach this to the left side of the card. Okay, so we're going to attach that at an angle, and we're going to do it just like that, and make sure I've got my, yep. So we want to put that in like that, and get up a little bit. All right, that should be it. There we go, and it's perfect. All right, and then the last thing, we're going to add it to our card base, and this is the Pear Pizzazz. So I'm going to put the adhesive on the back of my designer paper. I'm just going to place my snail around the 4 edges. And I thought that'd be a good color to use to pull in from the leaves on the green. So we'll go ahead and lay that on here. And it should give us a little bit of a border. And there you go. There is that. We'll make sure that's all secured. And there is our card. Isn't that beautiful? What an easy way. Plus it helps you use up your designer series paper. So if you have a lot of that, it's another way that you can use up the paper. Okay, that's the first card. So those that are just joining, the designer series paper is 5 1/4 by 12. And then you're going to score it at 2, 4, 8, and 10. You're going to turn your card sideways, and you want to mark at 2.5 inches on your designer paper. Make a mark at the top and the bottom, and then you want to put this in your cutter, and you want to cut from the first fold line down to that 2.5 inch mark, and then take your triangle and you're going to flip it over and glue it down here, and that gives you that triangle effect. Isn't that a neat card? I think it's really cute. It's really a fast card to make. I mean, it's not that hard to do. All right, so that's the first card. I hope you all have enjoyed that one. And those doilies, aren't they just gorgeous? I just love those. It adds such a nice, let me put this up a little closer. Isn't that beautiful? Let me get into the camera. How's that? Isn't that nice? It's just really, really pretty. And 24 of them in a pack. You can't go wrong with that, that's for sure. Okay, let me move these out of the way and pull in the next batch that we're going to be doing. Let me get my instructions out. Oopsie, I'm throwing stuff on the floor. Bear with me 1 minute. We're going to do some heat embossing as well, but it won't take long. We're going to do a chalkboard technique. Oh, look, I brought my stamp and seal. It's right here. It was in my stuff that's for my next card. Okay, so give me a minute. All right, so we are getting everything out, and this is the card. Now we're going to do a different color. Let me move this guy out of the way. Excuse my arms. And here's my host code. If y'all decide you want to order from me, there's my host code. You can use that. All right, here's the card that we're going to be making, but we're going to do different colors, okay? So bear with me a minute. Let me get everything out of here, and I'll go over. Let me put the other stuff away. That way I can be a little bit more organized as I drop stuff on the floor. Okay, so give me 1 second. Let me move this out of the way. I think we're good with that. Move this stamp out of the way. I got to have room. I've got, you know, between the camera and the lights and everything, I don't have a lot of room. Okay, so this is the card we're making, and this is the stamp set, Ridiculously Awesome, that Rhonda Wade created when she hit her $1 million in sales. Isn't this a fun stamp? And if y'all didn't know this, maybe you do, but if you don't, Sarah Douglas's husband designed the lettering. He did all the lettering for Rhonda. She told him basically what she wanted, and he designed the lettering for her, and then they came up with the you know, how they wanted everything to look. But isn't this wonderful? It's an 8 stamp set. It is the cling. Very large, bold sentiments, which I think is awesome because we don't have a lot of those. So I got that, and this is what we're going to be using. And that's what I used on this one, You Are My Sunshine. So this piece, this one here is made on a thick piece of Whisper White. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 5 1/4. And then I took a piece of Bumblebee, well, I call it honeybee, Bumblebee, and I cut that down. And then this is the glimmer. If y'all haven't seen this, this is the glimmer paper, the Rainbow Glimmer Paper. That is like, when you're looking at the paper, you go to the next page in the catalog, and it's down towards the bottom. This is the, I've used all of what I had for my paper shares. I don't have any left. I said I knew I wanted to make this card. I had 2 pieces left that I was able to finagle to get this card. So, but this is what we're going to do. This is the technique. And then we're going to use the Bumblebee ribbon, which is the end color. Okay, so let's get started with this one. Now this card, we're going to be working with the, I love this color. If y'all haven't seen this glimmer, you've got to buy this glimmer paper. It only comes two 12 by 12 sheets in the package. And so when you cut them, you know, you've got different colors. So I only ended up with 2 left from my last bit of paper share that I did. So this is, again, we're going to work with the with a thick whisper white. All right, let me move this out of the way. Pardon me. This is Coastal Cabana, which is one of the colors that's in this. And this piece is, hang on, I dropped my instructions and my microphone just came off. Hang on a minute. I just unclipped myself. Actually, I took my microphone off my thing. I probably don't need it, but there we go. It's always nice to have an extra one so y'all can hear me. I do have a big mouth, but, well, that's not working, is it? What did I do? I hope I didn't break this thing. I know it goes in here somehow. Anyways, all right, we'll just leave it there. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Okay, so, all right, here we go. The Coastal Cabana is cut at, let's see, 4 by 5 1/4. So 5 1/4 by 4 inches. All right. And then the glimmer paper is cut at 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. All right. And that's going to go just like that with just a slight little bit of the Coastal Cabana peeking through. All right. And then we're going to do another piece of Coastal Cabana, which is 4 1/8 by 2 3/4. So this is 4 1/8 by 2 3/4. And then we've got a piece of black, which is going to be our chalkboard. And that is 3 7/8 by 2 5/8. 3 7/8 by 2 5/8. And I'll have all of this stuff listed as well. Okay, so what we're going to do, we are going to fold our cardstock and make sure we've got edges are even, and they are. So let's go ahead and burnish this with our bone folder. And then we're going to go ahead and adhere these 2 pieces together. And we're going to add some ribbon to that. So let's go ahead and attach this. I tell you what, I'm placing an order here this next, towards the end of the week. And so if y'all need to place an order and you want to order for me, let me know. And I'm going to order some more of this paper. It is absolutely, it's beautiful. I just love it. Okay, so we're going to leave that right there because we're going to pull in, this carried over from last year. This is Coastal Cabana. I think it's Granny Apple and Granny Apple Green. Isn't that, I just love this. Isn't that beautiful? So we're going to tie that. Look at the colors. We're going to tie a knot. So if I've told you this before, I don't know, but I'm going to tell you again. If you want to tie a knot, wrap it the length of your card, whichever way you want to go. To tie a knot, you only want to do 3 times, okay? If you're going to do a bow, then you want to wrap it 4 times. And that gives you enough so you don't waste your ribbon. All right, so I know I brought my ribbon shears. Where are they? Hang on. I know they're here. Oh, they're up top. All right, so just cut it 3 times for a knot. And then that way it kind of gets it close and you don't have to worry about. So we're going to tie that. I'm just going to tie it now, and then we'll adjust it once we get ready to place our chalkboard down on our card. So we're going to pull that tight. Let me get my fingers in here. And then hold that down so we can get the tails pulled through. This is where I get to be, I get to become all thumbs, and I'll tighten this up in just a minute because this is the only way, you know, I don't know how some people do it. Y'all might be good at this, but I struggle. I'm not sure why, but I do. Some people make it look so daggone easy. It's like you just want to reach through the thing and go, oh my God, how do you do that? So as you see, I'm struggling, but that's all right. So I'm going to get my tail pulled through here, and then I'm going to tighten my piece down a bit. So let me grab him so he can get in underneath. So I'm pulling. Come on, baby. All right, let's get him. Hang on a second. There we go. Get him in there. All right, now I can tighten it up before. So I knew that was going to happen. Okay, let me turn it this way. All right. Let's watch Dawn struggle on tying bows. Well, now I'm not even trying a bow. I'm just tying a knot. See, you need like a fourth hand, you know, another, maybe I'm just not using my fingers the right way. There we go. Let's get that in there. Okay, now I can tighten this. Okay, here we go. Get that tighter. Pull that up. Okay, there we go. Perfect. And then I'll slide him around. Let me go ahead and tighten this up a little bit more. I didn't get quite the square knot, but that's all right. And I'm going to trim my tails. I'm just going to trim this just a little bit with my ribbon scissors. Well, that wasn't good. Well, look at that. Good Lord, Dawn. Let's cut that one down. And we'll cut this one down. There we go. All right, so we're going to lay that off to the side for now. Okay, now, this is a little different. So normally when we emboss, we use our Versamark, right? But we're not going to do that today. So we are going to, now I am using our embossing buddy, which is no longer available, unfortunately. And so we're going to, and I think you can probably find these on the internet or somewhere else. I hate to send you somewhere else, but unfortunately Stampin' Up! Decided they weren't going to sell these anymore. I'm not quite sure why they did that, but who am I? All right, now what we're going to do is we are going to stamp this in our Craft Whisper White, okay? So this is that real thick white. Now this is going to take a little bit, just a little bit to dry, but that's all right. We're gonna stamp it with this, and then we're going to add our white embossing powder. So I'm going to ink up my stamp. I don't want to get it too inky, but I want to make sure I get enough, because the last one, if you noticed, I didn't get enough on here. I'm going to show you my mistakes. I didn't get enough on there, as you can see, so my powder didn't get a chance to stick. But that's okay, because it looks like it's supposed to be a chalkboard, right? So let me just walk my stamp around in the ink, and we'll get a little bit more here. I don't hardly ever use. Do y'all use your white, the white ink? I don't use it, and I probably should. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stamp this on here, and we're going to stamp it down. And I'm just going to hold it here for a minute to make sure I can get it all to go through, hopefully without smudging. Okay. I guess I probably need to put more ink on it, huh? All right, and then we're going to take our embossing powder. Let me move this out of the way. And we're going to cover it up with our white embossing powder, and then we're going to go ahead and heat set it. So hopefully it stays wet enough that I can get this on there, right? So I'm just going to cover this up and make sure I get it nice and covered. And then we're going to tap it in there, and I'm just going to add, there we go. Yeah, it looks good. I'm going to add a little bit more just to make sure we got it on there. Okay. I found these little things, things at Home Goods, I think it was. These little containers. I think every now and then you might be able to find them at the dollar store. But this is what I put my stuff in. Now I just wanted to tap off any excess. And I think that looks good. But these are really nice because they got the lid that snaps shut, and then I just label each one. So it keeps it nice and tight and you don't get stuff all over. Okay, so it's going to take a minute for heat embossing. So we're going to hear some noise. So we're going to let this thing get hot. And just got to be careful you don't burn yourself with this heat gun. And if you haven't done embossing, you just, once you get it going, get hot enough, and you point it towards your lettering, and you'll start to see the ink melt. And once you see it melt, sometimes you got to adjust how you're holding the heat embossing. There we go. So you can start to see the ink melting. So I'm going to turn. See how the today is moving? You can see it's turning shiny white. And now we're going to do the mate. And then I'm going to turn this so I don't burn my fingers. All right, so I'm going to turn it. Hang on. Oops, I just scraped that with my... that's okay. It's a chalkboard. All right, so we're going to just hold that, and then we'll start shooting towards the R in ridiculously. And there we go. It's starting to melt. So it's coming forward. Let me get my hands off of the... Alright, so it's melting, 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 like the Wicked Witch of the West. Isn't that awesome? Look at that. So I hit the K with my finger nail, which wasn't too bright on my part, was it? But it's alright. You know why? Because it's the chalkboard look, and for all they know, it's what it's supposed to look like. Alright, I think that's probably good, don't you? I think that looks good. All right, I know that thing was noisy. My apologies for that. Let me make sure my volume is on my phone because my microphone is sitting here, but it's not on my chest, but that's all right. Okay, so there we go. There's that. Now, the next thing I want to do, I do have a little bit of powder on here, is I'm going to take my embossing buddy again. Make sure it cools down. Let me just let it cool down for just a second. All right, and I'm just going to pound some powder on it and make it look like it's the blackboard, okay? So that, doesn't that look cool? Isn't that neat? Oops, let me turn it this way. And this is such an easy card. I swear, you know, I see these things and I think, gosh, I need to do this. I've done this one several years ago, but you don't, you know, you start getting caught up in all the new stuff and then you forget about the old stuff that's fun to make. All right, so we're just going to add, let me use my new stamp and seal. I'm sure y'all have seen this. For whatever reason, and it might have been so they wouldn't think they were copying somebody, you have to take this little cap off. So you push down with it and pull it off. Now this one, you just lay it on here gently, because I had noticed that if you push too hard, it doesn't want to work. And then I just lightly pull it, and I do a cut like I did, you know, like you did with the fast fuse. I do that because I've heard others say that it doesn't, it may start rolling up. And then just snap this little guy back in place. That's all you have to do. All right. Well, he does snap in there. There we go. All right, so that's that. So we're going to attach that to this Coastal Cabana. So let me stand up so I can see. And I have embossing powder on my paper. All right, there we go. We've got a little bit of edge of the Coastal Cabana. All right, so we're going to bring in, and let me push that down. I don't want to take off my, oh, I just love that look. Okay, we're going to put him on some dimensionals. So let's pop him up on the dimensionals and add him to the front. Whoopsie. We're going to add him to the front of the card, and we're going to probably put him a little bit underneath the ribbon. And let me just put one on the center of the card. Okay, and see how quick and easy this is? I mean, it really, this was a quick card. So again, if you all have to make lots of cards, you know, this is another card. So, do you all like doing the one-sheet wonders? I know we did one a couple of months ago. Do you like those? Because I could do another one of those. I love those cards. Okay, so if you do, let me know. Yes, the embossing thing, Miss Amy, is wonderful, and it does make your cards stand out, and they do make good Christmas cards. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I don't want my letters to stand, so I'm going to just, I'm going to move this right here, so it's kind of centered, and then I'm going to just move my ribbon over. This is why I didn't attach it yet, because I wanted to make sure that I had room for my ribbon. Okay, so we've got that on there. Isn't that cute? All right, so now we're going to take, oh, I put the, I don't know why I did that. All right, so now, don't you love this green and this ribbon? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're going to lightly, see how it kind of pulled up on me? And we just have to lightly pull it towards us. You have to be gentle with the glue now, because obviously it's not like the snail. It doesn't like to be manhandled. So, anyways. All right, so there's our card with our smudgy chalkboard look. And we're going to place that right on here. And I'll have all the measurements and everything. I'm going to put this on my blog, and then I'll link it to my blog so you'll have all of the measurements if you just joined us for this. Okay, so there is our quick and easy chalkboard technique. So there's the first one. And then here's the other one that we made, that I made to show you. So there's two right there. Let me put them like that so you can see them in the camera. What do you think? Isn't that beautiful? I love this color. I mean, this glimmer paper, you guys, you've got to get it. If you haven't bought this, you really need to get it. All right, so there's our cards, and then here's our other card that we made. This is a new, nice, fun fold, and this one we use the ornate style stamp set, and then you open it up. There's that one. And then this is the one I made prior to tonight, just to show you. This is using the floral essence with some of the new designer paper. Isn't that pretty? So those are our new two new folds. So make sure that you share my video, and I will do a drawing, and whoever name is drawn, I'll send you both of these cards that we made this evening. So thank you again, you all, for stopping by and spending, how much time is it? Almost an hour with me, and we actually had internet tonight. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules. And if you need anything, please let me know. If not, then I will see you next Tuesday. And I will post the video from last week. I've got to edit it, so I'll have it up by Thursday, and I'll put it on the page so y'all can see that one as well. All right, everybody, thank you so much for stopping in and watching. And if you need me for anything, you can reach me at dawn@shallwestamp.com or Facebook message me, whichever. All right, thanks, guys. Have a nice evening. Bye now.